listless dragon, Crunch, you should probably invite him to the random to-do list, and then he will be list full dragon. So,
okay. Oh.
Definitely going to cut that one.
Hi everyone, this is Crocodile Dundee Alex. Welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I'm joined by a couple of hooligans named Matt.
Howdy.
And Kirby.
Hey.
Here at the Real Gamerscore podcast, we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and animals named Batista. This week we talk about playing games backwards, hiding from and in trees, and Alex's shocking recommendations. But first, here's the song of the week.
Get up every morning for your Fortnite war and game at 8:15 until you're sleepy. You're diving from above, people running for the guns, and the kids are just to ruin your day. And if your team's on time, you can match, make up or fine to start your tango hunt to get your prey. If you ever get fed up, look at me, I'm all set up. I love to ignore people all day. 'Cause I'll be playing single player every day, playing single player every way. I'll be playing single player. It's all fine, playing single player and never go online.
That was like Chin's methodology for playing video games. Single player, never go online, unless Rocket League. But
Yeah, that doesn't count though.
how does it not count? Totally.
Because I'd play split screen if I could, but...
I'm with Chin on this one. I'm singing that from the heart this week.
Fair enough. Well, that's if you know what song that is, you can enter our Song of the Week competition. So this episode is episode 58. We've got a winner from the previous couple of episodes. Kirby, do you want to tell everyone who has won the code and what they've won?
Sure. Before we do that, I'll just say episode 56's song, I'm pretty sure we said it last week, but we'll mention it again, was Bow River by Cold Chisel. And episode 57 was Breaking Free by Zac Efron, but not really, and Vanessa Hudgens.
From High School Musical.
Yeah, from High School Musical. All of you that got that, I'm very proud of you. You've done well.
And everyone who pretended not to get it, you really should have just entered anyway.
Yeah, there's low numbers.
I did not know it until you told me what it was. I had no idea. I'm just like, what?
Yeah. So, we do have a winner though. And it's a new listener. It's a name you didn't recognise, Alex.
That's right.
The winner is... Matt versus Game. And that's not Neomaster's old account. We did check.
Neomaster 42?
Yeah, I checked with the mods to make sure the IP address wasn't the same. It's not, so don't worry.
Neomaster 2005.
Look, I have a lot of copycats out there. I'm just a very popular guy.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
He's a new listener, so I don't know when he'll hear this, but send Matt versus Game, send me a message on True Achievements, ChinDocta, and I will get you sorted with your gift card. I'm definitely going to remember to give Clown his gift card as well, because I know he basically messaged me straight away, and I was like, yep, I'm going to deal with that tomorrow, and then tomorrow turned into 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and I think he called you out twice on the Discord, so you should probably get on that.
He definitely has. He's definitely called me out. I said, whoops, I forgot to do that. I'll definitely do that tomorrow. I think I said that on the Discord.
You set a reminder on your phone or something.
Yeah, make sure it's in the show notes, eh?
Yeah.
I owe him one code. All right, well, if Matt, you can also get in touch with Kirby in Discord as well, as can all of the winners of their prizes this week. You can find an invite to join us in Discord at the address discord.io/realgamerscore. You can find us in there if you want to hit us up to play some games, or many of the other people in there up for playing some things. I think people have started talking about finishing off Forza 6 this week because it's entered end of life. So lots of things happening in there. If you would like to join us as a patron, you can find the link to do so at patreon.com/realgamerscore. We have had our Patreon drawing, and we have drawn a winner.
Yep.
Chin, do you want to tell everyone who's won that too?
Yep. I'm definitely gonna remember to put in a spinny noise here with a big da-da for yep. And I definitely did it for the song of the week as well, winner, because I've remembered to do that.
Just like last time. Yep.
Yeah, just like last time. But our winner for the Patreon giveaway is, and will always be for August. Hat 90. Is it August or September? I don't know what we give away.
It was for August.
It's for the month of August.
Is it? I think it's
Yes.
for
Yeah,
September.
but we gave it away in September.
I think
That's for the end of August.
No, I think we get. It's for the. I don't. No, they pay for the month upcoming. They don't pay for the previous month. You pay for the upcoming month. So this is September. Well, Hatton, you've won either August or September. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. Doesn't matter. Hatton 90. Yeah, so hit me up in the Discord. Maybe you'll get August and September. Or October, depending on... I don't... Look,
he just works here, okay? He doesn't know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I get all this money in my bank account. I don't know what it's from. And sometimes I give it to other people and sometimes I keep it. All right? But hit me up on Discord or on True Achievements for an ID at Xbox code. Last month or the month before that, depending on how we organise this nonsense, was LA Jestin. He got... Don't remember anymore.
That's my favourite game. Don't remember anymore. Is that a Red Like a game?
I
it was really
had
quick
it in my head, and I've now lost it.
It's like 5 minutes. You think about it for a bit, and then you never remember ever again.
Little
I
Acre.
can't even remember what the title was.
That's what he got.
Oh, Little Acre.
Great
yeah,
game.
That was a good game. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Watch me get called out because it's not ID at Xbox or something. Let me double check. I absolutely didn't check. It was just like a $10 game. I'm like, yeah, it's probably ID. It is. It's fine. We're covered.
Oh, okay. Done well. I was going to say, ID at Xbox are going to revoke their sponsorship that they haven't given us yet.
Oh, but they will.
They're coming around.
Every day I send a message to K4. Said, hey, we're a podcast. And he's like, okay,
K4,
that's nice. I don't give him any details. I just say we're a podcast.
Eventually they'll be curious enough to check us out, and then they definitely won't give us the sponsorship.
I mean, I don't say our name. I just send him the message.
Okay.
We're a podcast. Hopefully he'll find us. But
Hey, I've heard this podcast is pretty small niche, so there aren't that many of us.
Kaforna Forge. He's a good bloke.
Right, okay, it is carnage. Alright, so we're not done giving away things here. So we've got the random to-do list competition. So before we announce the winner of that one, we'll remind everyone to get into the random to-do list. You can send Kirby a message on True Achievements or on Discord to get a list. It's a list of 25 random achievements from your pool of locked achievements. That's governed by your game collection on trueachievements.com. All you need to do to enter the competition is unlock one achievement and answer a trivia question. So the trivia question this week, correct me if I'm wrong there, but it's another game with the name Blast in the title.
It is, because
Yes.
it was.
And the game that we're giving away, Super Something Blast?
Close. Super Blast. Super Star Blast. Yeah, it was Super Something
Star
Blast.
Okay.
Yeah, Super Star Blast.
Super duper.
By Ntwickler X, who did Mace, and who are also under a slightly different label, who they did Spencer. So I'm pretty sure this isn't...
Yeah, I've heard people talk about Spencer.
I thought the Spencer one was they did the previous one that was the Infinity exploding.
No, that was I don't know who the devs were. That was Blowfish, who are Australian publishers. Subdivision Infinity DX.
Yes.
Yeah. They were Blowfish who did that one.
Yeah.
They did
I know, I just play the
most.
games.
Yeah, I know. I barely pay attention either. The thing comes up on the screen. I black out for about 5 seconds. It's gone. I'm into the game.
You keep hitting A to skip
Jack
all of
Quest
it.
this week. Yeah, mash A. If you press A fast enough, it'll get you to the menu screen faster. Like when you're at the traffic lights and you press the button. If you press the button faster, you get the lights to change faster. It's absolute fact. Doesn't even need to be scientifically tested. Don't worry about it.
I mean, for a lot of them, they don't actually work and do anything, but...
That's fine. So, the winner this week... who's won this week, Kirby?
Who's won what?
This week? This month, even. This month, for the random to-do list giveaway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one. Sorry, I forgot what we were talking about.
Oh,
We
mate.
went off somewhere else.
He saw the red light and he just stopped in his tracks.
Yeah. So, Subdivision Infinity DX winner is... Tatey. Yay!
Alright,
And I
cool.
did Spinny
Tatey, good
Noise,
stuff.
Tatey, drew it live. Definitely didn't do it like a couple of hours ago because I'm disorganized. I was trying to do everything
Alright.
last minute. But, yeah, Tatey. So, again, send me a message. I'm definitely a lot quicker for non-Australians. I promise. You'll definitely get your prize a lot quicker.
Isn't Clown in South Australia?
He is. That's why I don't
So,
want to give him
even if
anything.
you send it 2 weeks later, it'll still be ahead of time because he's in South Australia. He's so behind.
Oh.
Oh, does that mean I have to set my watch back to 1985 when I come to visit?
He's really...
Not for Melbourne, for
he's
Adelaide,
waiting
yeah.
on that code because there's literally nothing else to do in South Australia. That's the problem. He really needs that code.
All right. Before we...
And I'm from Darwin.
Roasting Clown. Yeah, I know. All right, let's hit up the news. So not much in the way of news this week, but a few different things. My favourite story this week, I'm going to lead with this one. So Celeste, which is a game I'll end up talking about later in what I've been playing, but Chapter 9, the title of this article says out this month. I actually finished downloading it about 20 minutes ago. So it's out now. We did discuss just before the show, Chin picked up that there were some Steam achievements, 2 Steam achievements. I don't think there are any achievements for the TA version. The Xbox version yet, are there?
No, and I'm not sure it will. I mean, a good place to check would be True Trophies or PlayStation Network or something, because if the PlayStation almost have to release the trophies with the updates, I think. So they get Gems of War a lot sooner than Xbox. So that'd be the place to check. But we were talking about it in the staff Discord, and then there's the TA staff Discord, and then I don't think there's anything on TT yet either. So I'm doubting these achievements come, but they might. They still might.
I just double checked because I've got Celeste logged in at the moment. There's still only 30 achievements.
Yeah,
so
for 1,000.
Definitely nothing added yet. But the chapter is out, and Kirby, you said you skipped all the cutscenes, but I've been playing it a lot this past
Skipped it backwards.
past week. Yeah, you went the wrong way, but I've been playing it, and I really enjoyed the story, and I think even that this update is free is a really cool thing as well. Get some people in before they go full on into whatever their next game is, which, according to some articles I've seen, is not Celeste 2. So we'll see what they end up coming out with. But are you guys going to play it, even if there are no achievements?
If every other game doesn't work or Xbox Live's down, I guess I could maybe play it for some reason. No, I really enjoyed
Well,
Celeste.
it's funny you talk about Xbox Live being down because that's been the past week. But yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Celeste when I played through it. I used the assist mode to come at me. But I don't know. Like I said last week, it's really hard for me to justify playing things without achievements on them these days because I just have such a huge backlog. But it might just, it's pretty short. It might just be worth flying through if I can use the assist mode for all of it and just enjoy it, because I did really, really enjoy the game and the story and, just the puzzles and that sort of stuff. It was a really, really high quality, well-made game.
Yes. Yep. Jin, you going to play it? I'm guessing no.
Yeah, no. As you mentioned, I used the cheat to unlock all the levels from the get-go, so I didn't even play them in or any of the levels in the right order, or like I did the seasides first because I was hoping to just knock, because then I wouldn't have to get like some of the strawberries or something. But no, I was completely backwards going from 8 to 1 and then died, so I didn't get any of the story. And I'm just like, it was a good game. Like I can see why people would enjoy it with the mechanics and stuff, but it was a Gamerscore game for me. And and so without the Gamerscore, it doesn't have value for me.
Okay. Well, once I finish this final achievement for finishing the Pico 8 machine, I am going to play it. I'll talk more about the game a little bit later in what I've been playing. Yeah. But
I found it really weird that she was trying to get to the bottom of the mountain, though. That seems strange to me. But, each to their own. I mean, why she set up a house on the top of the mountain, I'll never know, but... Yeah.
I think actually the end of chapter 8, she's in the centre of the mountain.
Right in the centre?
Yeah.
Because that's the heart.
7,
yeah, chapter 7
she
she gets to the
summit.
top, and then chapter 8 is like the heart of the mountain.
Yeah.
Well, why she dug a hole to the middle of the mountain and lived there
She
for a
didn't
bit?
dig it, mate. It was already there. Alright, let's move on. Because
What did dig it then?
Now. A very large shovel.
I thought you'd go with some kind of animal like a
Didn't
mole.
you listen to the story?
It was just a giant. It was one of those giant
No.
sloths that are now extinct.
I was going
Yeah.
backwards. It wouldn't have made sense.
You know what it was? It was a rift worm from Gears of War.
They're
And
sinking
I've just
cities with
given
a
myself-
giant worm, Dom.
Is that one of those things like shaped like an arch made of vials?
Oh no. Okay.
I know
that's-
that creature. Yeah.
Yeah. So, alright, here we go. So, Gears of War 5, we're going to have a bit of a talk about it. One of the things that I saw this week, I don't know about you guys being wrestling fans, but I was a wrestling fan around the time that this guy's popular, but Batista, the animal Batista, is coming as a playable character to Gears of War 5. So, I think that's really cool. I think crossovers like this, where things coming from other games or shows that you like into a different game that you like, I think that's really cool. Like, for example, seeing Shovel Knight, even though I haven't played Shovel Knight, but Shovel Knight in Yooka-Laylee. Like, that's, crossovers like that I think are really cool. But Dave Bautista, I mean, he was really good as a wrestler. So, I'm looking forward to not playing the game, but maybe watching some YouTube clips of the things that he has to say. Because I really liked, actually, my favourite character, and ever since I unlocked it in Gears of War 3 and 4, my human character's been Aaron Griffin, who's voiced by Ice-T. And I'm pretty sure for Gears of War 4 they got him back to record some new lines, because there's things he said in 4 that he did not say in 3. So that's been awesome. But Dave Bautista, yeah, he's going to be in it.
Okay. Here's the thing. You say crossover because he was a WWE. Is this any different though to say Quantum Break, where they just got an actor to play a character? Like how is I understand he was a wrestler, but at this point they're getting an actor to play a character in a game, as opposed to they're getting because he mentions in the tweet. He mentions WWE in the tweet, but it's not like they got AJ Styles to play a character. They got Dave Bautista, who hasn't. I don't think he's wrestling anymore, is he? He's just.
I think he's just finished up his next. Unless he's just about to finish up, he came back to WWE.
Did he? Okay.
And he fought Triple H. I think it was
Why
a
is he back?
match.
Oh, okay.
Triple H never left.
He never leaves.
He runs the show.
Everyone's least favorite punching bag. Triple H.
He was just like the manager or whatever. Like not manager.
I love Triple H.
He took over Vince's spot essentially in the theatrics.
Not really. Vince just sits in the back.
Yeah,
in the theatrics. Yeah, sure.
Like that's his role now. Is that he's the Vince McMahon. So, I didn't realize he was back wrestling. That's a bit more of a crossover than I just assumed at this point. He was just the wrestler Dave, the actor Dave, as opposed to.
Well, I think you're right though. I think he is come in as Dave Bautista,
Not
But
the
when
animal,
they announced him, they said, Dave Bautista, the animal, then, they probably mentioned Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers and that kind of thing. But Dave Bautista, I think, all around is just a pretty cool dude.
Gears is an interesting one because they've actually had, looking at the E3 conference, they had, what did they have, AJ Styles and a bunch of wrestlers doing their, video...
One of the guys from New Day.
AJ Styles, it was...
Xavier Woods, wasn't it?
Xavier Woods, yeah.
And Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, so
I'd never heard
who was
of,
in NXT, yeah.
So, they're obviously... They obviously understand the association between people who like big sweaty men and wrestling.
You could have gone either way there. Big sweaty men and Gears of War.
Yeah, exactly,
big sweaty men and wrestling. And now that concludes the Over the Top Rope section of the podcast.
Real quick, my favourite thing about Batista in his WWE career is that his WWE name was just his last name without the U. Because you spelled Batista Bautista. He just took out the U and was like, yeah, no one know who I am. Yeah.
My favourite thing about Batista is when he was in Evolution.
Yep, I remember that.
And he gave the thumbs down to the rest of Evolution and hit them all with Batista. I think
Batista bombs.
Hit them all with Batista bombs.
Yep.
Threw Ric Flair over the rope and just... That was it. Because he was such a good heel. I hated him so much.
He was very good.
He turned face, and I was like, yeah.
It was a weird stretch of
the big double thumbs down.
him and Ric Flair as a tag team partner, Randy Orton as the Intercontinental, and Triple H as the World Heavyweight at that time.
Yes,
that's what it was
World Heavyweight
called.
Champion.
Yeah,
the big gold belt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we could talk about wrestling another time, I guess, but. Staying on the topic of Gears of War 5.
Probably talk about wrestling next week, really.
Well,
Knowing how often it comes up.
About it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not that often, but...
WWE 2K20 is probably going to be releasing soon.
Is that Can I replay where I play The Undertaker and I throw Mankind off Hell in 17 feet through an announcer's table?
Yeah, almost certainly.
Top of the cage.
Oh, the cage in Hell in a Cell match, yeah. 1997.
Yeah. It'll be a slobber knocker.
Oh my God, it's got him in half. Alright, so we're going to stay on the topic of Gears of War 5 because it actually broke Xbox Live this week, which is a bit of a problem. But Coalition have been working on that. I hope Microsoft have also been working on that because Xbox Live was
it depends if it was a them problem or a someone else problem causing a them problem.
Like the Lizard Squad?
Yeah, like if it was a DDoS attack. Because, if it's a DDoS attack, I don't know much about network security. I don't know that there's a huge deal, like a huge amount of stuff that they can do to prevent that happening if people are determined enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Networking was always my weakest subject in my degree.
Yeah.
I know what a DDoS attack is, but I don't know how you stop it.
Turn off their computers.
Oh, I was going to say turn off the internet connection to your servers, but that's not good.
Yeah.
Play single player, yeah.
Xbox Live. Well, no, I wouldn't be able to play anything because my home box is somewhere else. I'd have very little to play. I'd have to play whatever I've got on disc. I have WWE 2K19 on disc.
It all circles back.
Yeah. Gears 5 was having a bit of trouble. But to be fair, it was also the early access weekend, so it wasn't the full release.
Yeah.
It was the people who bought the Ultimate Edition or had Ultimate Game Pass and could play it 3 days early. So, unfortunate, but not the worst thing that could have happened on an early access. The weird thing was that the campaign needed a server connection.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Microsoft forgot that they basically gave Ultimate Game Pass away for $1 for 3 years to basically everyone on Xbox Live, and forgot how many people would be playing it.
Yeah, that could have been it too.
All right, so let me hit you with this here. Don't cheat and have a look. As of right now, how many tracked gamers have started this game on True Achievements? Just have a guess.
Okay. I can see the TA score, but it doesn't show me the game. It's just because I'm looking at the article. Has anyone unlocked Seriously 5.0? Chapter 1?
There's no one's completed it.
Okay,
but
all
I
right.
suspect that means no.
Yeah. I want to say it has 27,000.
I'll go under that. I'll say 20,000.
Okay.
64,149.
Jesus
Wow.
And the game releases officially today.
Yeah, okay. That's so...
So if that's just people who attract gamers on True Achievements, I can see why potentially Xbox Live got broken, maybe?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's a lot more than I thought it would be. I would have thought it would be about 20,000, but
yeah.
I guess people are I think that even though I'm off the series, I think that they've marketed the game really well and they've done a lot of things right. I think in hindsight, Gears of War 4, they kind of played it safe. They just made a campaign to set things up and they didn't do actually any DLC for the game. They just did release a few achievements here and there. I hope that they've learned from that. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they've learned from that. But the new escape mode, there was something new about the game. So, it's, at least they've got something going for it. That's new. They've got Batista in the game. They've got, Terminator and Sarah Connor are in the game as well. I mean, you probably, if you'd been listening to, in the mid-30s and 40s episodes, and then you just tuned in now, you'd be like, what happened to Alex, man? Where did he go? But I think that they've done well with this game to hopefully tell a good story. But
did Gears 4 set up a new trilogy, or...?
Basically.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New characters.
Okay.
Kate Diaz, JD, which is Marcus's son, and... I actually don't remember the third character's name.
That's all right. So, yeah, but they were setting up a new trilogy. Okay. That's... To answer a question we got last week, yes, Control would have had more players if it was on Game Pass.
Yeah, actually, that's a very, very good point. I mean, the Xbox gamers are itching for some AAA stuff to play, so actually you're right. If it had been... I would have played Control by now if it was on Game Pass for sure.
Yep. And,
Dell, his name is.
We knew that Blair Witch was niche, and that it wasn't going to get 20,000. I don't know that it'll ever hit 20,000 gamers. But this clearly shows that, at least that there is some appeal to having a AAA shooter on Game Pass. Launching live early, all that nonsense. But yeah, interesting.
I think that's pretty cool. I think it bodes well for them. And you know what? I know I said never, but I think, given where I'm sitting right now, it's a lot more possible that I'll play this game than 3 months ago when I was suggesting I'm going to win a competition to go and tell the Coalition what I thought about Gears of War 4. No, that wasn't 3 months ago. That was like a month ago, but you know what I mean? I think that I think if they can turn me around, that they could turn around a lot of people, and that's possibly why 64,000 people have started it on TA this past 3 days.
Yeah. The other thing is, you're probably not in the worst mindset in waiting, just in case they do launch achievements, because I know, those that started early, even with some of the retroactive stuff, still put in, 400 hours or whatever, as opposed to those who started once all the updates were out, and it only took them, 150. So,
only.
I say only, but, the amount of time required was cut down so much shorter because you could multitask a lot more.
Yep.
I think it was just...
Your numbers are way off, but your sentiment is spot on.
I know my numbers are obnoxiously off, but
I know.
You get the point.
But you are right, and I did think about that when I started the game, because I think there was maybe 2 more achievement drops when I started, and I worked on pretty much everything all at the same time. But it's just... the thing that makes me nervous and has always made me nervous about the Coalition handling it since they got their hands on it is Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3 released additional like story beats.
Mm-hmm.
A few.
Extra things to do in the game. Like I'm thinking Horde Command Pack. And even though Gears of War 3 came with a paid DLC installed on the disc, which in my books is an absolute no-no, they actually added things to the game instead of going, okay, you just did the same thing, do it the same way but slightly different. That's not cool. And I wonder if that happened because Coalition were trying to play it safe and go, all right, well, at least if we do this, we can, put money into rotating cards, special cards each week that people can unlock for doing challenges, and we can put time into releasing more weapon skins, which will make us more money, instead of putting out story. I guess now that I say it out loud like that, it sounds a lot like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting thought.
Grand Theft Auto are adding things to the game that are not just cosmetic, where I think that Coalition just added cosmetic things.
Yeah,
least, you can go into a casino in Gears of War. You can, you can buy different things.
You mean GTA?
You can do different races. Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
GTA.
The thing with GTA was, it would add things that were, for example, vehicles that were better than anything you could get currently. Which then, to be competitive in any of the races, you then had to either have saved up the money to buy it or buy microtransaction cards to purchase it.
Yeah, and then the other thing to think about is that Grand Theft Auto 5 is the best-selling entertainment property of all time. So,
yeah,
I guess
when you say it like that, I don't blame Coalition for trying to emulate
we're a close second, though.
If that's what it
is. No, absolutely, yeah. Our Patreon's off the charts.
Close second behind GTA 5. If we can figure out how to sell them shark cards, we'll be in.
Yeah.
With little
all right, well, there you
sharks.
go. That's
no, I
that's
did.
What's happening?
I did add
War 5.
a little ending to this. The Coalition are offering 5 days of boost and 600 scrap to anyone who played during the early access weekend due to the issues they were having with the servers. So, I mean,
I think it's good that games do that, because I think the same thing happened with Mortal Kombat recently. They gave you like combat coins or something because it had a rocky launch.
I just have no idea if 600 scrap is, is it like the 250 atoms?
I was just thinking that, yeah.
Where you can't actually get anything with it. Like, it's not really, I don't know. Hopefully it's sort of enough to...
In Gears of War 4, 600 scrap was a purple card. But the card system is scrapped.
Or like a purple loot box that got you a purple card, you mean?
No.
Just from the
Once
store.
you had discovered a card, you could craft them for scrap.
Okay.
And 600 scrap bought you one purple card.
Okay, and that's second best tier?
Yeah, gold card is best.
Yeah, okay, that seems reasonable then. I mean, yeah, it's only a weekend.
It's something to get you back in the game, and I think it's good. I mean, because it doesn't cost the Coalition any money to do that, and I think as a player of it, you would feel better. They can go, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we stuffed up, and here I have some compensation, even though it's not worth anything to them. It's not really worth any money. Have some compensation or something. Yeah. Anyway, that's Gears of War roundup.
Yep.
Either of you going to play it? I presume you're not, Chin, but Matt, are you going to play it?
Probably not. I didn't play 4, or not on my main tag anyway. We'll see. It's a hard ask because I just it's
a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. And I still have to go. I still have to finish Gears of War 3. So maybe when I finish that, I'll catch up with the rest of them. Work my way forward.
Yeah, well, Throwback Tuesday, when the Cross Atlantic Gaming Podcast finally challenged us into Match 5 in Gears 5, that's when ChinDocta will play it. So never. That whole thing died at 2 apiece, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's a draw. It's fine. Everyone's a winner.
What was the prize again? It was like a
$25 gift card.
Yeah, maybe we just have to give a $25 gift card to our community for being slack. Out of the Patreon money, of course.
Oh, mate, if we gave money to the community every time we were slack, we'd be broke.
Well, I would.
Well, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, let's be honest, you guys aren't chipping into my laziness.
I wasn't going to throw you completely under the bus, Chim, but I mean, that's fine. I'm going to jump in front of it. I'm not going to stop you.
Under the bus simulator? No, that's for later. I did want to quickly mention, because it's just, I mean, you're sort of aware of it with NBA 2K20. It is reviewing really poorly due to the microtransactions and really bad glitches.
Do you know the best thing the best thing I saw about it was that they didn't even update the taskbar for the PC version. So if you got the PC version, you know, the little icon that shows up on your taskbar on your computer, it still shows the NBA 2K19 logo on it when you launch the game.
Nice.
They didn't even bother changing it.
Control C, Control V.
Yeah.
There's a hashtag going around, hashtag fix2K20. So someone got 3 stars in a practice drill, which is, I presume, the best you can do, and they lost skill. Like, it was training for their character. Their character lost skill points.
It must have been a hangover from losing the previous drill, right? Like in Rocket League.
Yeah,
you go
definitely.
Down a division after you win.
That's definitely how that works. You know, someone was playing a match with someone and was up by 7 points with 10 seconds to go. Their opponent called a timeout, and that caused their online game to have a error and just cancel completely. And they still lost whatever they used to get into the game. Whether, I don't know how it works. I assume a currency of some kind. So, yeah, things like that. So I think it's on Metacritic, just on player ratings. It's at a 1.0 on Xbox based on 59. It has a score of less than 1.
Was it 1.0 what, out of 5? Or
Yeah, I think 10. It's out of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, PC and PS4 are less than 1, and Switch is at 2.4. So...
Switch players are just happy to get anything.
Yeah, if you're a Switch player, you're just like, man, I just got another game. It's great. It's you know, they're not anime characters, so I love it. I'm fine. It's sports. How often do they get sports and it's not like Football Manager? You know? But still, that's...
Shout out to Chaotic and Charm.
I'm glad their microtransaction schemes is not paying off for them.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. What's happened in the Great True Achievement Scoring Challenge?
Yeah, I'll insert the theme song here that I definitely remember from 3 weeks ago. Just lost my train of thought doing that. So the bonus for period 11, which we are now in, is for the solo side. It's ding, level up. End the scoring period having unlocked at least 15 achievements flagged level. So these are typically for, just leveling up in a game, usually using, I think now it's for like using skill points based on leveling up, stuff like that. So Borderlands will have plenty. Forza, I think one of the motorsport ones are relatively easy because you have a driver level and a car level, and most of those achievements, I think you can get to like level 5 on your car and level 10 on your driver, and that's 15 right there. But, just make sure you got 15. You don't need to claim the bonus. You'll automatically get it once planting has gone through and checked it all. As for period 10, the solo cutoff dropped a lot. It dropped down to 490 from like the 800 last week. That was kind of to be expected once most people had gotten their badges for the community challenge. They sort of just stopped caring, really. I'm actually surprised I didn't see your name in the eliminations, Alex, after coming so close. I don't know what you played this week, but like I was...
Dead Island Retro Revenge.
And then, because then I was like, oh, maybe he wasn't a friend of the real Gamerscore account. Oh, no, he definitely is. I don't know. Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. But our lowest sailor was Reset42 with 541 true achievement difference. He did use a 500 bonus, though. Why... he's pushing to stay in this competition as long as possible. 51 above the drop. our high flyer was Neomaster.
Yeah, it was.
Fifth spot overall. 7,083 true achievement difference, and about 6,000 that's going to be decay this week, isn't it?
Oh, I've already lost 500 in the last day, so I've been trying to catch that up today. It's brutal.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be a chance to be up there, actually, because I played a few big TA games this week, but well done. That's a good score.
Neo played one, which we'll talk about later, but yeah, it's going to punch him hard in the gut. Not as bad as... Sorry, go.
I was going to say, this is probably it for me, to be honest, unless I pull another rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah. There's... In the discussion thread, there was someone who's unlocked the Seriously Pop already. And I think that's
Really?
And I think it's a 100-point achievement with like 18k TA.
Oh, man.
And the next time someone unlocks it, it's going to drop about 5,000 points. So when that happens eventually, he's done. He's like, yeah, I'm not getting out of that hole, but I unlocked this. I was the first person to do it, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm like, yeah, that's going to bury you. Speaking of people that did get knocked out, though, XLX Jester, Buck Marley 155, Shadowless Edge, Cavaliers 07, and Tatey. I think, except for maybe Buck Marley, those are all Patreons, so that's disappointing that we're so pathetic.
Well, I mean, I think pretty much everyone who signed up to the competition, including the three of us, were like, oh, yeah, we'll get out to week 10 and then we'll just drop out. See how that's working out for us.
Well, I didn't try to stay in this week, but it just happened. I'm in the same pool as them. If I could just eliminate myself somehow from the competition, I just need to turn on privacy settings at cutoff.
Minus 10,000
Negative 10,000, yeah. That'd be easy. Easy peasy. The team cutoff was at 2,769 last week. We had a team low, Video Game of Thrones, Nibirios, Zus, and Secular Forever. I know, it was surprising because he's usually up the other end, so I guess they've hit week 10 and wanted to drop out as well, but they didn't quite make it.
I'm enjoying this next one.
Yeah.
What did you guys do?
3,196 with 428 true achievement difference above. The team high was the Unbearable Lightness of Backlog Definitive Edition, which was myself, Skeptical Mario, and Ben L52. We were in 15th spot with 7,150 true achievement difference. A mere math 67 more than Neomaster as a team.
Are you not in a team, Neo?
No, I actually got an invite to that team, and I was like, oh, I could join it, but I don't really enjoy this whole team thing. I'm a single player guy.
Surely, if you get like 14,000, surely that's top spot. Anyway,
no, I don't think it was this week, but I was the top scorer of the team of the week as well.
Yeah, because you got a ridiculous amount.
All that was worth like 5 points, to be honest. All those.
Yeah.
But no, it was mainly one game, which I'll talk about when we talk about what we played. But we did have one team get knocked out. Team Crunchflake, which I assume was a random team given the name of Sweden Dude, Crunchflake, and Listless Dragon. I did cut it. I moved it, but I cut it. Okay. But yeah, no, that's GTask for week 10, period 10. We're in period 11. Good luck to everyone still in it. Good luck to those who are actually trying to win it. I can think of maybe one team, maybe two, but good luck to them. I'm going to really try and die as quickly as possible in this contest.
I was just going to say, that's horrible. All right, well, at least we can hear a little bit more from you now. You and Planting are reviewing Metal Wolf Chaos XD.
Yes, and we are joined by special guests, Descendants of Wolves. So you look forward to that, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, now.
And hello, Planting42 here, along with my faithful cohort, ChinDocta.
How's it going?
We're here tonight to review Metal Wolf Chaos XD. You may recall this from its over-the-top entrance at PAX.
E3.
E3, thank you. Yeah, the Devolver
Last
Digital
year.
show. Yeah, that was quite the show.
Yeah.
So,
They're always good. They're always good.
That is true. So yeah, this was published by Devolver Digital, developed by General Arcade, released August 6th, 2019. The US market price of $24.99. So it's a mid-range price there. It is a third-person mech shooter. Yeah, on TA, I would totally agree with that. I don't think you can switch into a first-person mode, at least if you can. I haven't found the buttons yet.
The only time would be when you're using the sniper. But
okay, true.
Even then, that's one gun out of many. So yeah, I'm not particularly pushed into trying to make this a first-person shooter, to be honest.
And if you tried to play the game with just that one gun, you'd not have a good time of it anyway. So.
No, definitely not.
Time estimate? I don't know. Of the 7 people that completed it on TA, no one apparently has submitted a time. So I really couldn't say. At the rate I'm going, this is probably going to be especially for the Hell run and the S rankings, you're probably talking a good 80 to 100 hours, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm being crazy.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's going to be a long one, especially trying to get everything done in the levels and stuff. This feels like it's going to be on the longer side of completions.
So I guess, how do we explain this one? You're the president of the United States, and you're defending your country against a rebellion brought about by the vice president of the United States. I know United States is known for being crazy, but I guess this is kind of over the top. It's you actually take into using a mech to fight to restore order. You're like a one-man army with like some light support crew back home that's just hell bent on rescuing POWs and bringing down an evil empire. I mean, it's like totally over the top.
Yeah, it's exactly what Japan thinks of America all the time. Just constantly. This is every day. This is happening.
Oh man, it's like Saints Row meets Armored Core. I mean, it's at its core, it's a good mech shooter, fast, fluid. The way you change weapons is pretty cool. You hit one button and you can start flipping through your loadout on both arms, so you've got good control in the battlefield. I don't know, man. It's fun in like a gloriously patriotic way.
Yeah. It's the mechanics are well designed. I mean, the jumping leaves a little bit to desire, but you're also in a gigantic mech, so how much jumping do you want to be doing, to be honest? But trying to get over fences and stuff is sometimes frustrating. You can pretty much smash through everything, or shoot everything, or blow up everything. So there are very few things that I found I couldn't destroy along the way. So that's always nice when I guess you're not really restricted by a lot of invisible solid objects that you should be able to take down as a mech.
True.
You can go through all the cars, all the stalls, all the loud dogs, all of those things.
So the achievements in Metal Wolf Chaos XD, there's 47 overall, and they make a pretty good mix of story completion, which includes S ranking everything, completing the game on hell difficulty, which is going to be insane, I'm sure. Collections, which include stuff like grabbing all the POWs, all the weapons in the game, all the aliens, musicians you need to have musicians. Everyone needs musicians. And then, of course, like the random failure-based achievements, there's a surprising number of them. And some odd destruction ones, kind of like, on this level, do this kind of thing. Or, stomp a helicopter out of the sky. Or stuff like that. It's just kind of fun.
I never figured out how to stomp. Unless it's just landing.
I'm not entirely sure what that means either. I haven't stomped anything myself, so don't feel bad.
The solution says to do it in the first level. There's a video. I guess it's just jumping and landing on the thing, and eventually it dies.
I'll have to give it a try.
Stomp is not quite the word that they land on a helicopter and blow up. But yeah, no,
there's certainly no button to stomp.
Yeah, no, because I saw that and I'm like, I spent like the first 10 minutes trying to figure out what button was the stomp button. I'm like, no, okay, there's no clear movement where I'm stepping on things. So yeah, it's not just land on them. Right. I mean, the achievements are all tongue-in-cheek names as well. Like this, the fake news, I think was one of them that I've now.
Oh yeah,
past.
destroy the helicopter, like news helicopter, 10 times in one level.
Yeah, one punch wolf, destroy a target with a single stomp attack. Fathers and Sons, destroy the statue. Fathers and Sons XD, destroy it a second time. Yeah, so they knew what they were going for, and they went 100% into it.
And I appreciate that. You know, gameplay wise, it's kind of straightforward mission based with branching, so it kind of gives you a little bit more control over what you're going to do in the game. You can control the pacing as well by replaying completed missions to get better scores, find the collectibles you may have missed, and of course romp around in all your presidential glory. You can also blow up pretty much everything, like we were talking about, to find weapons on the field that you can later attach to your mech in between levels. And you can work this loadout to your advantage because each level's got different stuff in it. So you're like, okay, I know this one's I'm gonna need rockets. I'm gonna need some hardcore explosives. You can load yourself up like that before you start the mission.
Yeah. I didn't. So there are energy cores that you pick up as a collectible that power you up in some way. I think according to the solutions, they seem to make you stronger the more you get. But I wasn't sure if it was an automatic. Once you get 5, you get stronger, then 10 stronger, or like you had to upgrade yourself in some way. I didn't quite.
Not entirely sure myself.
Because you do sort of. They are hidden in the levels, or you get them for defeating specific enemies and they drop. But I didn't quite figure out how they worked.
So if you do, let us know.
Yeah. Graphics-wise, it looks like it's from whenever it was originally made. It's not the prettiest game to look at, but when everything's blowing up around you, you don't really care too much about how it looks.
Worth noting, although this is a remaster of a 2002 game, it is actually been redone in 4K. So if you're playing on an X, it does look better, although you can still tell that it's a remake. It's not a remaster. Or
yeah,
maybe I'm phrasing that wrong. Yeah,
no, it's hasn't been made from the ground up following it's no Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
It's not. It's definitely just taking the old assets and polishing them a bit and putting them out again. The soundtrack, I did listen to the soundtrack for a little bit because I always start off with it. It's standard rock, sort of like it's just a rock soundtrack, guitar riffs and heavy metal-ish.
Kind of what I associate with a lot of the mech assault games from back in the day.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just that mech metal soundtrack. Sort of it. I mean, if you thought of a soundtrack that would go with Metal Wolf Chaos, you've probably got it pretty well right.
Yeah, so a verdict, I guess, for the game, for Metal Wolf Chaos XD. I think it's time to step up and defend the country. I think it's worth the $24.99. If you find it on sale, of course, definitely jump on it. But I think for the time you're going to put into this game, if you're into a mech warrior style, if you're into this kind of a combat, or if you just enjoy like the over-the-top kind of like a Saints Row-y take on defending your country, then yeah, this could be a whole load of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Without an estimate, it's kind of a little bit tougher to make that judgment call, but S rank's going to be difficult. Hell difficulty is going to be difficult. Everything else, you still get a good. That's 120 points, so 880. You get 880 game score pretty handily, and then just sort of spend the rest. That will be where most of your time goes. So I think it's still worth it, even if you're not going to get the completion.
I agree. Just playing through it is good fun. It's one of those games. Don't skip the cutscenes. The cutscenes are the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they made... I learned that the hard way when I got it in. I'm like, oh, is this it? And then I sort of watched one of the cutscenes, thought it was unskippable. I'm like, oh, this is the game. This is where it all is. You have the weird playing the game bits in between the game. Gotcha. Yeah, that's where it really shines. It's this ridiculous cutscenes.
Yeah, agreed. So I guess until next time, take care, everyone.
Alright, so it looks like your dogs were doing the review in the background and you and Planting just happened to feature around them.
Yeah, they 100%. They enjoyed the game as much as I did. They're a lot more into rock music than I am, so they just, they chugged along. I was kind of like, I'll put on Spotify over the top and it'll be fine, yeah.
Alright, well, what else did you play this week?
Well, I don't know what I did during the week. I don't think I did much. I did some Rocket League, but I do things now during the week. I don't have much time to game sort of Monday to Friday. It's painful. But
I know that feeling.
It's mostly weekend stuff. So this weekend, this month in general, I've decided to make a push on the roguelite board. So I played 2 roguelites and completed them, and I'm sort of working on other ones along the way. My random to-do list sort of reflects this because I tried to get a purely roguelite list, but the values were too high, so I couldn't do it. But I finished off Devious Dungeon 2. So that's a Ratalaika game. It's essentially the exact same as Devious Dungeon 1, except longer, and I want to say worse. The thing I feel about it, and I don't recall this in the first one, is the hitboxes feel way worse for you. Like
like Flappy Go?
Kind of like Flappy Go, where the hitboxes aren't quite... They're a lot bigger than your actual physical model, and so you also take way more damage than I think is appropriate when you touch an enemy. Not get attacked, but like if you jump down to a low level and there's an enemy there and you touch them, you'll take like 20 damage, and early on you've got like 30 health. So like you take a huge chunk of damage from touching them without even getting hit. So that sort of... I didn't particularly like that. It felt a lot more like the previous one. You could sort of use a bit of is more skill, I think, than just pure grinding out to be stronger. Whereas this one was you just grind out money, get a better weapon, level up a bit, get better items, so that you could then beat the levels. As opposed to, I'm good enough that I can dodge the attacks and stuff like that, and still be okay and make it through the level, even though I'm slightly weaker than I probably should be. So it just felt a lot more grindy than the previous title, in my opinion. I think it was like a 6 to 8 hour by the time I was done, because that last little slog was just painful. But I did get it done. It's like a pathetically low ratio, but it's another roguelike completion. I think I'm at like 17 of 40, I don't know. There's a lot. The other roguelite I did was Crimson Keep. And it's an awful game. Awful game. I don't recommend anyone ever play it. Especially because it's like $20. That's ridiculous. I will do a quick walkthrough now. It'll take me about 5 minutes. So, there are 2 main characters. There's the Barbarian and the Wizard, I think it is. Could be it's some variant on Spellcasting Man. He gets a wand. You want to play as the Wizard first, because he's the easier character to play because of something that's broken in the game. The Wizard starts with a wand. The wand has a certain amount of charges. Once the charges are depleted, you are supposed to use an item to recharge it, or use a mana potion or something. What you can just do is drop the wand, pick it back up, it'll be recharged, and so you can just do that. The Wizard will also do more damage with the wands than the Barbarian, because you will find wands as a Barbarian, and you can then use them and break the game entirely. But the Wizard will do more damage with it. He's much easier to use, so I recommend using him first, because I believe there are 7 or 8 levels in the game, with the 8th being a 4-boss rush kind of finish. to the final boss, and you kill the final boss and finish the game. At the boss room in level 2, the boss room at the start, so going to the boss room in level 6, and after the boss in level 6, there are what's called soul doors. What they require is for you to die so that the door will unlock for future runs, and then you start over. And that's why you use the wizard first, because he's easier to play with your recharging wand glitch, and it's much easier to then get to the next set of doors. As it stands, I'm the only person to get past the first door. The second person to get past the first door and even make it to the second door. Wakapao, listener and fellow podcaster on AH101, has also done it. He's also the first to complete the game. I was the second.
What is the benefit of opening the soul doors?
You can progress through the game.
Oh, right.
You have to do it to progress. To get to the boss room.
So it's a roguelike where you have to die.
Yes.
And start the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Great. Love it.
So then, eventually, you will beat the game with the wizard. You may then have to do a couple more grinds of killing bosses, because you have to kill 24 bosses as the wizard cumulatively. I think there's 9 in a successful run, so you may need some more. Repeat the process with the barbarian. Oh, I forgot. When you level up, you'll get abilities and perks. The only perk you absolutely 110% must get is a perk called Sated by Combat. That will stop you starving and dying from not eating. And there is not enough food that you will come across in the game to avoid dying from starvation if you don't have this perk. I think you lose...
It sounds like a quality title.
Oh, awful. You lose 20% of your max health, but you can't die from starvation. Between that and the one glitch, the game is relatively easy. It's just the perks are random, so you may not get that perk in your run. That's just how it is. I don't think I ever made it past like level 4 or 5 without this perk, because you just wouldn't find enough food and you would starve to death. Repeat the process
Is
with the...
any comparison to Ziggurat?
They're both
That's kind of what I was
first
thinking
person.
too.
Things. What's that?
They're both first person.
Yeah. And you have a wand? Ziggurat?
Only for one of your characters. Ziggurat,
all the
Ziggurat is a
characters
much
have
more
one.
polished... No, in Crimson
right,
King.
you're talking about...
Yeah,
Crimson
Ziggurat is
King.
much more polished. It's sensible. It's balanced for the most part. So, yeah. Repeat the process with the barbarian. Kill whatever bosses you need to kill. Then you have the final grind left, which will be taking trap damage, deaths, breaking barrels, and eating food. So, ideally, you go for the deaths and the trap damage in the same run. You start the first level, which is like the tutorial. You break 4 barrels at the start, get a piece of food, eat it, go walk back and forth on the 2 traps until you die. You usually get maybe 5 or 6 trap hits before you die. Repeat that process until you've got all the traps and deaths done. And then for the barrel and the final barrel and food grind, just go up, break the barrels, eat the food, quit, start again, start a new game. I was doing this on Saturday when the Xbox Live outage happened and people couldn't sign in, and I wanted to test whether you could just go, break it, quit, and it would count the progress. So I tried to use my alt to test it, and it wouldn't sign in, so I had to wait till everything was fixed and I could test with my alt, because otherwise it's like it goes from a 4-second run to make progress into a 30-second run. So cutting that down to 4 seconds per food, of which you need to eat 350 food items.
Adds up quick.
Yeah, 350 times 30 as opposed to times 4 is a staggeringly large difference. So yeah, I still do not recommend it, but if you do want to play it, that's the perfect way to get through. And you just have to get lucky that you get a wand on your barbarian run and that you get the right perk. Because I think the very first run I did as the barbarian, I got a wand early on and got the perk I needed and just finished it. He doesn't do as much damage with wands as the wizard, obviously, because he's meant to be melee focused, but melee is so broken it's not funny. So it will take longer, but it's, it is what it is. You just get it done, move on. Awful game. Terrible. I think it's sitting at I want to say like a 3,500 true achievement points, but yeah. I don't even think the developers finished the game. I think that was a comment they had, as we didn't finish yet before 4,300 TA.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Not bad.
In between these adventures, I played a lot of Ratalaika titles and a lot of other easy titles. I'm just missing 2 current titles from the Ratalaika sweep. I need to finish off I and Me, which is a puzzle game. I'm not enjoying it. You essentially control 2 cats, and you need to get them in picture frames, and they both move the same. So if you walk left, both of them move left. If you walk right, both move right. Jump. So you have to sort of get them on either side of an item and then walk in one direction, and one will walk into the item and not move, and that'll create space. And then there's other things that make the directions get reversed, and there's buttons and stuff. It's a good puzzler, but it's like 4 hours long, and I'm just not enjoying it. So it's just a bad Ratalaika for me. Legend of the Skyfish I also haven't finished. Don't know what it's about because I haven't even started it. But everything else I finished off included Warlock's Tower, Gravity Duck, Sagebrush, Hexalogic, The Tower of Beatrice, My Big Sister, Mechabolt, and Hymno. Only one of note was how bad The Tower of Beatrice is for a point and click, because it is point and click, but rather than having a cursor, you just scroll through the selectable items and selectable things on the screen.
Wow.
And yeah, the walkthrough is good. I think it's a little over an hour if you follow the walkthrough well, but yeah, it's just I don't know. It was one of those ones that felt like it took 3 hours when it wasn't. It kind of felt like Pipe Push Paradise, where it was just a slog despite it only taking an hour. That left me with 8,945 Gamerscore for the week, hoping to sort of maintain a relatively high output and get to 800,000 by the end of the year, so that it's only 200,000 next year for my million. But I'm at the point where I'm pretty comfortable saying I'll have 1 million by the end of next year. It just getting more in between now and the end of this year will make it easier next year. But yeah, Matt, what have you been playing that pushed you so high in the G-Task?
Well, clearly it was Super Weekend Mode. that classic title.
That's super high ratio.
Yeah.
Of 1.1. Yeah.
There's
probably less than that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Did the gameplay throw you off on that? Like it was weird for me.
It was weird. It took me a little bit. It took me a couple tries to get it down, but apparently, according to my achievement time, it took me 9 minutes to finish it.
Yeah.
So, easiest points this week. So I did that just before the show. The main one I was working on was Shenmue 2. I talked about it last week a little bit, where I just finished the Hong Kong section and had just moved on to the next area. That game, again, just like the first game, is tonally all over the place, but there's a section in the second area, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but essentially you need to fight your way up 17 stories of an apartment building starting from the basement. So it's essentially just the raid. Was actually pretty great. I mean, the only thing I had trouble with was some of the quick time events. They've added a new one in there where instead of having to press them and timing, they just show you 3 of them and you need to quickly do them in an order, like Simon says.
Yeah.
And so some of the registering doesn't seem, like the timing doesn't seem quite right. The button seems to be fine, but the directional sticks, I don't know, there seems to be some weird disconnect. Sometimes I got it, sometimes I didn't. But you had to do 4 of them in a row against the boss at the top of the 17th, on the top of the 17th floor. And I messed it up like 5 times in a row. And then when you mess it up, you got to do the whole boss fight all over again, which is a little bit of a pain. And then, like, after that boss fight, I was like, oh, cool, there's like another section. I'd be interested to see what happens here. And the whole section is you walking along a trail to a mountain, then to a village, then to a cave. And not like, oh, you walk. Like, I'm talking like you walk for like an hour. Like, you just walk and then you talk to this person and you can try and skip all the conversations, and then you walk some more, and then you have to run and do QuickTime events, and then you got to run some more, and then you got to run some more, and then you got to run some more, doing the same QuickTime events over and over again. And then you get to a cave, and you got to collect firewood, and then you got to talk some more, and then you go on another walk, and you have to walk along a cliff, and if you fall off, you have to do a QuickTime event, and if you fail it, you got to start all over again. And then you get to a tree.
Because you failed?
Oh, I fell off. I fell off a few times.
Oh.
Yeah. It wasn't, like, eventually I got it, like, because you only have to do, like, one if you messed it up, so it was okay. But, yeah, then you get to the Shenmue tree, and I was like, oh, that's what the game's about. And then you go to a cave, and you find a sword, and then spoilers, you find some carvings, and then it's like, hey, come see the next game. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right, they're still doing Shenmue 3. Apparently...
They are.
Right?
Oh, I forgot too.
You're like... Yeah, me too. I completely forgot. I saw a news story about it today, actually, about how everyone's really upset that it's going Epic exclusive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that game's a mess. But like, I do think it's better than the. I think it's definitely better than the first one. It's a lot more expansive, like the whole Hong Kong and the whole second area, and even the third area, even though it was kind of weird and just kind of like a weird journey across a mountain, was a very sort of different than the sort of small town, go to the dock and work on a forklift. Although they do have a box lifting mini game, which, man, just if you're listening to this right now, you need to just pause the show and go and watch it. If you haven't seen this, go and see the box lifting game mini game for Shenmue 2. The guy gives you instructions. You have to move the box up, move it left, move it right. You're carrying one end, he's carrying the other. But he just makes the most uncomfortable noise every time he moves. Like, the voice actor sounds like he's having a hernia every time he wants you to move the box forward, and it just made me feel very, very uncomfortable. It's rough.
Is that is that Delin or Delin?
Yeah. That's the one. Oh man. But the game itself, interesting. Cutscenes. I got to a stage where I was like, okay, I'm probably just going to spaz mode this and just skip through all the stuff because it just makes no sense. The voice acting's so bad. But it's on Game Pass, well worth playing. The achievements are relatively simple. It's a slightly shorter completion than the first game, because they actually say, oh, hey, you go to a zone where the store's closed. We'll just let you skip time until the store opens the next day. You don't just literally have to stand there for 20 minutes waiting for time to tick over. So they definitely learn. So I'm actually somewhat interested in the third game now. I don't know if it's coming to the Xbox or not. I don't think so, because I think Sony was involved with paying for some of it, but that was ages ago, so who knows at this point. But if it is, I'll probably give it a go.
Kickstarted at one point.
Yeah, so it was Kickstarted, and now it's an Epic Store exclusive for the PC, and I know it's coming to the PlayStation because the trailer they showed had the X, circle, triangle, and square buttons on it. So who knows? I mean if it comes on the X,
triangle, circle,
sorry,
square.
yes, yeah. As it has been determined apparently.
Well, no, it's because the X does not exist in the Japanese vocabulary.
Yes,
cross, like the as a
yeah. As a cross, yes. A cross means no, a circle means yes.
Yeah.
It makes sense, especially if you're playing Metal Gear, where if you want to start the game, you'd press the circle button and if you press X, you'd go back.
Yeah.
It was very, very weird.
Yep, yeah. I think we discussed this when I think I had a Taiwanese PlayStation 3, and so to enter anything, I had to hit circle to enter rather than X, which we're used to in Western consoles. Yeah. Annoying.
What else? It is, yeah, I don't, that's Japanese console, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What else? I also started up a Sundered, I can't remember what the subtitle is for that, Sundered Eldritch Edition or something or other. It's so it's a side-scrolling, like, Metroidvania with some roguelike elements. So when you die, so essentially you have central rooms where you have like boss rooms and item rooms, but between them you have big squares in the map, and essentially the rooms within those squares will actually change every time you die. So the path you take to get somewhere will change subtly around. So there were a bunch of dead ends, and I was trying to figure out why. And then I died and came back. I was like, oh, hey, the map's not explored again. I was like, I was pretty sure I've been here before. But then it turns out, yeah, it actually just does like a whole puzzle shift thing. So you need to figure out how to get back to where you were.
Yeah, okay.
It also has a 4-player couch co-op, which is actually quite fun. You share a health bar, but you have your own like shield and special attacks. So I played that with Allison, and it's really, really good fun. The game's actually quite difficult. I'm playing it on easy, and we played a little bit of it. And there are parts where you can unlock perks by fighting off large hordes of enemies, but those hordes will just absolutely wreck you if you're not ready for them, which you never are because they surprise you. So we're only maybe an hour or two into it. I'm going to put a bit more time into it next week. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm a big fan of the sort of Metroidvania stuff. It's just most of them tend to have speed runs or some sort of, no dying achievement or something a bit ridiculous that just makes them more of a chore to play than they should be. What else did I play? Oh, I finished up Driver San Francisco. So I think I mentioned that last week, was doing some of the online. So I finished up the online grind on Friday night. And I said, okay, well, I guess I have no excuse to not go back and just to finish up the challenges and get the collectibles. And so I was looking at the online map and I saw, oh, hey, there are 4 challenges there. I'm like, okay, you need to get 80 done for the game, for the achievement. So I said, okay, well, I guess I'll do these 4 and then try and find the other ones. I did those 4, and then it's like, hey, congratulations, you got the achievement. So it turns out that past me in 2011 did like 95% of the achievement and was like, you know what, I'm just not going to do it.
He was knowing
past Matt.
In the future there's going to be like a 1v1 20 achievement earning competition. I'm going to want this nearly done. But then President Matt forgot about it and didn't include it in his collection.
Exactly. I completely ruined it. So yeah, I decided, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I did those challenges, and like some of them were a little bit difficult. So maybe I just got to the point where I ran out of time, or because I don't think I owned the game originally. I think I may have rented it or something, and never got back to it. So yeah, the challenges were relatively simple. It took me maybe an hour or two, and then the collectibles. I was looking at it. There's 130, and I was like, oh god, 130 collectibles. Turns out I was only missing like 26 of them. So apparently, I'd basically done the game. I really should have just stuck with it. So that took me maybe another hour or two to do, and the game's completely done. And it's looked at the time and the time investment. I think it's a time difference of when I started it from when I finished it was. Let's have a look.
I think you commented on your.
Something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was
so it was it's about eight years. So it was. Oh, actually, wow. Okay. So I started it on the 7th of September 2011, and I finished it on the 8th of September 2019. So almost 8 years. So 8 years in a day.
It's like almost not 8 years, which would have been the embarrassing thing. If it was 7 years, 355 days, how?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we know if you don't get it on the dot, it doesn't count. So.
Yeah.
I love that people are saying that now.
It's nonsense.
It's true though. If you don't get it on the dot doesn't count.
100%. So yeah, it was actually good fun to go back and play that game. It's a really good, like a high quality, like weird driving game that's super super arcadey that I really really enjoy because I'm not really into driving games normally. But the 2 big ones I've been playing this week. So I finally jumped into Blair Witch after talking about it on the Discord, and I think I may have mentioned it on the podcast last week. I wasn't sure about it because the achievements looked relatively easy enough, but we didn't have a lot of guides out there. Thankfully, Sasha Morning put something together on the forum that is not a walkthrough, apparently.
No, because Sasha doesn't do walkthroughs anymore because they have to be... Well, that's going to make it sound bad. I was going to say they have to be of a certain standard, but they require more work than just the roadmap that most people is acceptable to most people.
Yeah, was 100% what I was after. It had all the collectibles. They were relatively easy to find. The first playthrough took me maybe 6 hours just to go through and make sure I got everything, do all the collectibles, listen to all the story bits, read all the notes. That game's actually really good. I think it's definitely worth playing. There aren't too many spooks in it.
That was what I was about to ask. How scary is it?
It's definitely unsettling, but your first playthrough, if you have the flashlight, there's nothing to be worried about because essentially it's just like Alan Wake, except you don't shoot them. You just point the flashlight at the enemies and they die.
That reminds me of that bit in Dear Esther.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Dear Esther where you were running
No,
along?
you're thinking...
Or am I thinking Ethan?
You might be thinking of
Vanishing
Ethan.
Ethan Carter.
Yeah, that's probably it.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of Dear Esther.
Definitely not.
No. You know what? I'm thinking of a totally different game. Yeah, it is the Vanishing of
Ethan Carter.
Is that the one where you're, the Swedish mother, and you're like, Ethan.
No, you're thinking of I know the one you're talking about. That's what was it called? I did it a few weeks back with the whole village and the kid being kidnapped and stuff.
Yeah, all the kids being kidnapped. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to shine the light at the siren thing or whatever it was.
Yeah, because it always comes from like a random direction.
Why do I not
And
know
Makes that
what you're
horrific
talking
noise.
I'll have a look through my games while Matt tells you the rest of Blair Witch.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend playing it. I mean, it's on Game Pass, as I keep saying. I've just been going through Game Pass games because I figure, I've got a good incentive to play them because they're limited time. It was really good. You get to pet the dog, you get to feed the dog treats. There's an achievement for being nice to the dog.
You know,
it is,
I
actually.
might have mentioned this before, but there's a page on Twitter called "Can You Pet the Dog?"
Yep.
And they share video clips of you being able to pet the dog and other animals. I think you can pet the giraffe in, I don't remember what game it was, but they shared that as well.
Last of Us, at the very end.
There's a Can You Fish in It Twitter account. Same
Can
thing.
you
Can you fish in the game?
Right.
That's cool.
Of course.
Sorry,
the
Matt.
game I was thinking of is Through the Woods.
Through the Woods, I'm just looking at it now. Nice 3-hour completion game. Definitely get on it.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would highly recommend it. So I did one playthrough for that, and then I did a second playthrough with... So there's a second playthrough. You need to do a pacifist playthrough to get one of the achievements for not killing anything and for breaking the cycle, getting the good ending. Well, quote-unquote good ending. Blair Witch doesn't end well either way. But that one's a bit spookier because essentially you can't have your torch on at all because you can't kill any of the enemies and you don't want to alert them either. So there's a couple of bits where you can see the enemies and you have your camcorder up with night vision, but you walk so slowly when you have it up to your face that you need to have it just down to the corner, kind of pointing in the direction of where you think the enemies are. And the dog will kind of bark and point you towards them, so you need to avoid them. So there's only about maybe 3 sections where there are actual enemies in the game. But there's one bit where you're in a minecart, and normally what you do is you take the minecart down to each of the camps and turn the generator on, fight off the enemies, and you'd have light everywhere, and you just go and ransack the place. Obviously now you can't take the minecart because it's got a light on it, it'll alert the enemies. You can't turn on the generator because it'll turn the lights on and you can't fight the enemies. But you can sort of see the outlines of the enemies because they're weird tree creatures. So you just have to sneak, and just kind of go around the boundary of the... Oh, it was there was this... My heart was in my mouth at one spot. I was just so freaky. Because you just, one wrong step and you just hear the screaming noise and they just come at you from the dark. And, you can't do anything. So...
Is it like a jump scare like the Five Nights at Freddy's games?
Not so much, because you can see them. So, you can see, if you mess up, you find out pretty quickly. You've walked into the line of sight. So, it's not... there are a couple of jump scares around, trees falling over or spooky things happening and weird surreal stuff. So there's a lot of especially in the last level you go into a cabin, and because this is maybe the same guys who make Layers of Fear, so they do a lot of that stuff with going into a room and ending up back in the same room and walking in an endless hallway and creepy stuff happening and all that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. Very much like PT, like Layers of Fear, a bit of Observer in there as well. You can definitely tell from their previous games what they've worked on. But it's a relatively simple game. So I did the speed run for the second bit, avoiding all the enemies, and that took me maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just running through, not answering any of the phone calls or petting the dog all the time or anything, and just skipping the collectibles. So the ratio's great on it. I mean, it won't be for very long because it's actually quite easy. But the main problem is just getting all those collectibles is a bit of a pain because obviously a lot of the game is in the woods, so trying to find points of reference can be quite difficult.
Oh,
so it's go left, look at this rock, and it's okay, well, I'm just gonna go left and look at all the rocks over here, I guess, until I find what I need.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely say jump on it. It's not that scary. and Chin would probably. Well, besides Chin, I definitely want to see him stream it. But that's all right. You'll get through it. We'll hold your hand.
I think I might have to do it this weekend. Like, I think I just...
Next month is, like, Halloween.
Yeah, no, next month is play Kitty Games streams.
Until the 31st of October.
No, because everyone does Halloween, so that's
It's
the time
all
to
spooks all
capitalise
the
on all
time.
the stuff they're not doing.
No, fair enough. Yeah, everybody's tired of Halloween stuff.
Capitalise on that Crayola scoot market.
I already did a full stream of that on Extra Life. I did that, Paw Patrol, and
Oh, yeah, that's
Kart
right.
Racer.
Those classic.
Joy. And I was going to do...
Yeah, you sounded like you're having a good time.
Oh, it was a struggle to stay up for the last... See, if it's a game that sort of takes some kind of paying attention to, that's all right. But I was nearly passing out towards the end of that hour. 24 hours.
Yeah. And then the last game that I've been playing is Stories Path of Destinies, which I think was reviewed on the show a few weeks back. I really want to say great game. I really do, because it has all the elements of a really good game. Like, it has a pretty fun combat mechanics. It has a really interesting sort of storybook art style, and some good humor. The writing's a little memey, but whatever. I like it. It's funny. One of my favorite things was I was waiting for a boat, like a flying boat, to show up. So I was spinning around myself in a circle, just waiting, and I got an achievement for doing that. So, I didn't even know it was an achievement. I just was doing it because that's what you do in video games when you're waiting for something to happen. Is spin around in a circle.
Spin, yep.
Yeah, and it was like, oh hey, spin your. I think it was cause spin me right around or whatever your usual. So I got an achievement. I was like, okay, you know what? This game's all right by me. The only real problem with it is the fact that you need to. There's an achievement called Bookworm for completing all of the different stories, which I just finished. So that's 25 playthroughs, which is a bit extreme.
Oh boy, how long's the playthrough?
Not very long, to be fair, because there's only 5 levels of playthrough, and if you're ignoring all the side stuff, you can get through a level in about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You can just blitz your way through it. Obviously, if you still need upgrades for your weapons, or you need need to find big chests for gems or anything like that you need to collect, then it'll take you a bit longer because you can open up sort of side routes and that sort of stuff. But if you're just blitzing your way through it, there's actually an ability you can get later on in the game that once you get to a combo of 20, you start killing enemies with one hit, as long as you maintain the combo. So you can just rip through enemies really, really quick. But just some advice, I would say, for the achievements, anyone going for them, make sure that you go for the get through a level without taking any damage. Make sure that you do that on the very first level that you do, because there are no AoE attacks and you only fight basic enemies. So it's nice and easy for the most part. And there are beholders, guys who have these searchlights on their heads. You can kill them. You don't have to sneak past them. I tried to sneak past them like 50 times until I got frustrated and fought one and realized they died in one hit, and I could have just saved myself the trouble. Yeah, I felt real smart after that. And there's an achievement for killing 25 of them, so I probably should have figured it out. Most of the achievements are pretty simple. They'll just give it to them. There is an achievement for getting a 60 hit combo. Try and get that early as well before you get the instant kill ability, obviously, because you want to try and rack up as many points as possible. But the enemies will get stronger. So try and avoid that instant kill ability towards your last few playthroughs. Mm-hmm. And then there's also an achievement for using every ability and every weapon. So try and unlock every sword. Don't upgrade the swords that you have. Just unlock every single sword so you can get that achievement pretty early on. So all I have left to do in that is to unlock every single ability. So I've done 25 playthroughs of the game. I've unlocked all the story routes and got all the endings. And I still am 9 levels off completely leveling up my character, which is absolutely ridiculous because the combat is not that complex. And once you unlock most of the abilities, the extra ones are just useless. The game's not very difficult, and you basically just have to run the same route over and over and over again to try and get enough experience to level up. So I'm going to have to grind that out probably sometime this or next week, mainly because I need the ratio. But it's yeah, it really brings down what is an otherwise a really, really good game, unfortunately. So I would recommend it, but understand that it's really like maybe a 10-hour game that's being stretched out to maybe 15, 20 hours, depending on how much you enjoy it. But it is really frustrating. It's a real shame. I'm looking forward to playing Omen Sight, which is their sort of pseudo sequel set in the same universe, which apparently improves on pretty much everything. So I'll probably give that a try soon as well. But that's pretty much it for me this week. The 3,670 points. What about you, Alex?
All right. Well, I've only jotted down 3 games here that I played. I played a few things in the past couple of weeks, but I started off with Dead Island Retro Revenge. So it's hard to kind of put this game, how good it is, into words. Like, I think that it's kind of suffered from what happened with Dead Island. You know, people thought they were getting one thing and they got a different thing. And, you know, that goes to a whole new conversation about expectations. If you were expecting an on-rails light combat game, it's almost a puzzle game, because certain enemies will not accept certain attacks. So, like, if you go, they're these skeleton ones, if you hit them with B, they damage you. They're like, nah, I'm not copping that, mate. But if you hit them, like, with A, it's no problem. And there are certain combos that you can hit certain enemies with that clear the lane that you're in. So there's only 3 lanes. But I finished the last 3 achievements. So there was for finishing 10 waves straight in survivor mode of random enemies. And so each wave is 1 minute long. So it's 10 minutes straight without losing more than 3 lives. And your lives and your superpowers do not recharge in between each minute wave, which makes it very difficult. And as the waves get higher, the game gets faster. So it becomes, you know, a little bit more difficult in the last few waves, but it's not super duper fast or anything. I didn't get to the point where I started thinking I have to press start and then go again, like, you know, scumming it, as they say. But it was a bit tricky. It took me probably 5 or 10 goes to get that done. It was definitely more than 5, but it was less than 10. So I got that done. Then the last 2 achievements were for finishing in marathon mode, which your health definitely recharges in between waves. And I can't remember if your screen clearing super recharges. I think that did as well, but not your lane clearing ones. Anyway, so there's 2 different supers that you can use, LB and RB. One of them definitely recharges in between waves, and the other one definitely doesn't. But that was 8, 16, 24 levels straight, and they're longer than a minute each. But, you know, you get your stuff recharged in between waves, so even though it's longer, I guess it's kind of less difficult. I actually quite enjoyed it. I knew what I was getting into when I started the game. The 4.3 at the time, or 4.4 ratio, whatever it was at the time, it was quite daunting. I don't usually pick up games that are that high, but after playing it, I feel like that's overinflated. There are some achievements that you'll need to commit some time to, but it is not super difficult, and I quite enjoyed it. The second game that I played this week was Celeste. I know, obviously, Celeste was a Games of Gold. I think it was last year. Maybe I could be wrong about that, but it touches on a lot of things that I like. It's like, you're Celeste, you know, you're having some sort of mental issue. I don't really know what it is, but potentially depression. And you're like, right, I'm going to go out and prove to myself that I'm awesome, and I'm going to go and climb Celeste Mountain. Actually, your name's not Celeste, it's Madeline. Anyway, Celeste is the name of the mountain that you climb. And there's a lot of touching on mental health issues. So at one point, I think in level 3, you go to a hotel and the guy keeps trying to check you in, and you're like, I'm not trying to check in, I'm just passing through on my way to the top of the mountain. And it turns out that he like talks to himself a lot, and you say something to upset him, and he basically hulks up and chases you out of the hotel. But I suspect that that's, a different mental issue in itself. So it kind of touches on those things, trials against adversity. It's a very kind of uplifting game, and I see what the developers were going for when they made the game. It is very, very difficult. Having said that, I think that the developers also conceded that it is too difficult for probably the average gamer to get through this game, and they added the assist mode. So I played through everything after the first chapter on assist mode, so I just wanted to experience the story. I thought about it when I finished the game over the weekend and thought, if I had spent dozens of hours playing this, dying over and over and over again, it would really feel like a real full-on victory against adversity. So I just thought, I just had a moment of reflection while I finished the game, while I was climbing into the center of the mountain chin, not climbing down to the bottom.
You were doing it backwards then.
Yeah, I guess I did it the wrong way. I just blasted through the B sides and the C sides, which are like extra levels. I'm now working on the final achievement. I started it just before we started recording, and I'm on the 28th level out of 30. And assist mode is not unlocked on this machine, so you have to do it legit, and it is very tough. And it's not, Chin. You're so full of it, mate. But anyway, I'm going to get through that pretty soon. If I don't finish it tonight after we finish recording, I'll do it tomorrow. But I also played Cube 2, so another Games with Gold. It's, of course, got its similarities between it and Portal. It's, a story-driven first-person puzzle game. It is really good. The story is... I was going to play it because it's an easy game, and admittedly, I play a lot of games for that reason, but the story really drew me in. There's a big mystery, it does have that amnesia trope, you can't remember why you're here, you have amnesia. I think that's really weak, but the rest of the story is actually really good. I really enjoyed working through the game. I had a guide up, and at the start I was kind of using the guide, but I was playing along as I was watching the guide, and I found that I didn't really need to watch what the guide was doing. So I kind of turned it off and only clicked back, a few times on some of the more tricky puzzles, probably 2 or 3 tricky puzzles that I'm like, I just don't know how to finish this. And then I see the solution, I'm like, oh, yes, of course. It was right on the tip of my tongue type of thing. But I really enjoyed working out the puzzles. I actually found it a lot more rewarding without using the guide. But I used the guide just to make sure I didn't miss anything. My game is... So that was the 3 main ones I played this week. My Gamerscore was 2,255. And my random to-do list unlocks, well, my pool is too low. I didn't get a list, so I have 0.
Did you play Cube, the first Cube?
Yeah, I did. I really liked that one too.
Yeah. So how does this compare?
Well, that's the thing. I was expecting... The way Cube 1 ends, I was expecting like a story follow-on. Mm-hmm. And... From what I remember of the first Cube game, that is not what happens at all.
It's not so much.
Yeah, it's more like a standalone story that seems to be in the same kind of universe.
It sort of relates. It's set in a different time, but it makes reference to the original game a little bit in some of the story beats. But yeah, you could play them completely separately.
Yeah, but it adds a lot to the game. Like, I don't remember the balls or the slippery stuff in the first game. It was mainly just using the cubes, and I think there was a yellow power up in the first game. That the yellow power up in the second game is basically the ability to put forth multiples of the green, blue, and red cubes, or so it's really very different, but. Same but different, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. But yeah, I really enjoyed Cube 1 as well.
Yeah, I thought they were really good. It's interesting to see because obviously if you look at the comparisons with Portal, which is the obvious one you mentioned, Portal 1 was a game where you're inside a facility that's very stark and you just kind of try to break out, and Cube 1 was the same way, and then Cube 2 is some of the facility but also some outdoor areas, and then Portal 2 is exactly the same. It's some facility stuff but also some outdoor areas, and trying to find interesting ways of using it. It's very interesting to see they both went in the same sort of interesting direction.
But so many years apart.
I didn't see any cake in Cube 2, though. So,
that's true. It has that going for it, yeah.
But did anyone tell you there was cake?
No.
So no one lied about it either?
No. I guess that's true.
Alright. Or is it a lie?
Good old 2007 memes.
It was good times. Alright, well, there was a sale that dropped earlier today, so we should probably talk about some of those games. One of you two want to start going through these games?
Nope, not really. You're up,
all right,
buddy.
fine, I'll do it.
Okay. I was talking
that's
to
fine.
both of us, but all right.
I'll go through them. So we've got the Gamerscore games that we were looking at this week. Black and White Bushido, 50% off at $6.49. Definitely recommend it. Nice, easy game. You will need 3 controllers, I think, to finish it up or to make some of the last couple of achievements easy, but otherwise it's pretty simple. Coffin Dodgers, 67% off at $3.95. Nice, relatively easy kart racer. It's got a little bit of... The physics are a little weird to get used to, and you do have to play through it twice, but the second playthrough you play as Death, and he's basically better than anyone else, so it's really, really easy. Lazy Galaxy Rebel Story is a 60% off, $3.19. That's a roguelite, I believe, or it's like a shmup.
I think it's just a shmup.
I haven't had... Is it just a shmup? I haven't had a chance to play it yet. It's on my list for sure, though, but the achievements look relatively simple, and it's got less than a 2.0 ratio, so that's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Love's in a Dangerous Space-Time, 60% off, $5.99. So the ratio is pretty high on this. I think it's a 3.0 ratio, but is massively inflated because it was games with gold. The game itself is pretty simple, great to play in co-op. You basically control a spaceship, and you go around saving bunnies, trying to restore love to the universe. It's fantastic. Highly recommended. Especially playing it with a spouse is always fun.
Did
North,
you play it with Alison?
I did, yeah. I haven't finished it yet, but we played quite a bit of it. So,
Did you yell at her?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's part of the experience. It's like Overcooked except with less tomatoes.
Okay. Baby, I got a next game that we're going to play together, okay? We've got another next game that we're going to play together, okay?
What is it?
It's called Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. There's only going to be a little bit of yelling. Less yelling than Overcooked, I was told.
Well, it depends if she's on engines or shields.
She just sighed really audibly. She still has nightmares.
About Overcooked.
Because you yelled at me so much.
Well, if you just did what I told
That's
you, I wouldn't have to
Overcooked.
yell.
I was.
Okay,
Well,
enough
I
now.
was.
Enough now. You're not on the podcast.
It's like Secret Hitler all over again.
Yeah. Lying little.
And so, also North, 50% off, $2.49, although I would debate whether that's a game or not, but it's easy at least. Planet of the Apes, Last Frontier, 50% off at $9.99. Definitely worth playing. It's kind of like it's basically a choose-your-own-adventure movie.
Yeah. It's way more interactive movie than like a Telltale. It's like the next step of interactive movie.
Basically, yeah, because you don't walk around at all. You just make decisions, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's relatively easy. You got to play through it a few times to get the endings, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
But it's actually quite well done. Reagan Gorbachev, 75% off, $2.49.
Yeah, this is a good game.
It is actually. I did. I think I did it for my 800,000.
Yeah,
It's
a very fun game.
yeah, like it's a top-down. I wouldn't say shmup, but it's kind of like a stealth action game, kind of.
Stealth.
Yeah. So you're sort of sneaking around with Gorbachev and Reagan after their meeting they were in got invaded by terrorists, and it's so ridiculous and over the top. but it's well worth playing. It's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, really good.
And it's not that difficult.
$2.50, that's a bargain, man.
It's a steal. Riddled Corpses EX, 70% off to $2.99. Chin, you've played this one, right?
I have indeed. It is fantastic. It is it's worth way more than that. So at $3, that's ridiculous. Very, very. It's one of those like I mentioned with Devious Dungeon, where you just sort of have to grind a little bit to be strong enough to get through. But once you got the mechanics down, it's pretty cruisy. Really good though. Really good, really tight mechanics as well. Like the controls really well. Definitely good.
Great. And so we've also got Sea of Solitude, 25% off, $14.99. I think they just came out recently.
Yeah, that was
I think
one of the EA indie stuff. It got shown at E3 last year. No mention of it at E3 this year. At least, well, E3 didn't have a show, so. But no, it dropped to pretty well critical acclaim. Like it's not the best game they've ever released, but it's definitely a good solid one.
Yeah, it looks definitely like fun. I mean, at $14.99 at 25% off, I think it's still maybe a little bit too pricey for a 3 to 4 hour game.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I think maybe when it drops a bit more next time, I'll probably pick it up. Tacoma, 70% off, $5.99. Nice, easy walking simulator. A couple of puzzles, nothing major. Definitely good for those achievements. And actually, quite an interesting story about AI and a space station. Easy to get lost and turn around in low gravity though.
Yeah.
Tiny Troopers Ops, Joint Ops, 60% off, $3.99. So I did this one maybe last year. Relatively easy game. It's just basically a bunch of sort of tactical. I don't know, how do you just go? It's a twin stick?
Yeah.
Twin stick shooter?
Twin stick, yeah.
Twin stick little army. It's trying to replicate the mobile Windows 10 games.
Yeah.
But it's an isometric twin stick shooter.
Yeah, nothing too special. Relatively easy. There's a little bit of a grind in there, but otherwise relatively simple.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward, 50% off, $5.99. Relatively easy, but not very fun.
No,
you do need to.
If you have a Cronus,
you do need to play it on vet.
If you have a Cronus, you get through it really easy. Just program it to keep hitting, I think, X, and then you'll be able to get through like the 1,000 questions in a couple of hours, because it'll just keep restarting games, solo games. As you were saying, you do have to play it on Valentine's Day, and I think on a Saturday as well.
Right. Saturdays do come up a little bit more often than Valentine's Day, though, so it should be okay.
Just a few more. Just a little bit more.
And then Legendary 11, 50% off, $7.49. It's a football game, apparently.
Yeah, pretty easy. A little bit grindy, but I mean, the age-old strategy of score one goal and then hide in your half with your defender on the ball, and they won't come near you. That holds up in this game as well, but it's just it's a little bit grindy in winning like the World Cup with a bunch of different teams, and I think there's 500 goals and 100 wins and stuff, and so I think you can't be quicker than 6 minutes a game, I want to say, or maybe 3 minutes a game, so you're still looking at 6 hours of grind or 5 hours of grind at least. But
so not too bad, but maybe a little more. It depends on how much you like football.
Yeah.
And then, so for my recommendations, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to recommend two things. So I'm going to recommend Sundered Eldritch Edition, which I spoke about a little bit ago. So 50% off for $9.99. If you like your Metroidvanias, definitely worth playing. It does have that couch co-op, so if you want to play with someone, make sure they're decent at the game, at least in the fights. The good thing is that if they're not great at the platforming, they can just press a button to teleport straight to you. So that takes half the struggle out of it. And the combat's quite good too. And then the other thing I'll recommend is a Plague Tale Innocence, 33% off for $33.49. So it is still a bit expensive, but it is one of those, I would say, a AA title. It doesn't have quite that level of AAA polish, and I did play it on disc, but I think it was when I played it. I think I said that it was a contender for one of my games of the year this year. It's an absolutely fantastic sort of 10 to 12 hour linear experience with some collectibles, some combat, puzzle solving, really great story, and and actually just some really good production values. It's got a few bugs in it. It's not it's not quite up to the level of polish of say something like a a Call of Duty or an Uncharted or anything like that, but I would definitely recommend playing it.
How does it hold up against, say, Hellblade, just in terms of quality?
I would say I think it's probably about that level of quality. I think it's a much better game than Hellblade, but I think we're kind of getting towards that level. Maybe not quite in the motion cap, obviously, because that's. But I think in the level of quality of the game itself, the mechanics, the crafting stuff, the story, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's now sort of the standard for a good AA game. So, seeing how that, okay, still might be a bit dear for me.
Yeah, it's a little pricey. Alex, what about you?
Well, I mean, won't be any surprise when I tell people Rocket League's on special, but that's also my recommendation.
Oh, is that one of those indie titles?
It is one of those indie titles. I think it's an ID at Xbox title. So,
okay, right.
If you won the giveaway this week, you could get Rocket League if you really wanted to. But $11.99, 40% off. Refer to episodes 1 to 57 if you want to know why you should play it.
It is ID at Xbox. You are correct.
I know.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation? Is it all apart from Rocket League? Because obviously that's your recommendation too. But what else?
Yeah,
you have to
you
be
should
something
play
else.
Rocket League with me. Just no. That's the recommendation. You give me $10, I'll play Rocket League with you. There's a roguelite shoot 'em up called Steridon. It is 60% off at $5.19. Maybe I'm really hoping I grabbed the US price and not another price. I feel like I may have done that now, but still going to be relatively cheap at 60% off. It's not the easiest. It's been made quite a bit easier with some updates.
That's the US price. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, so there's been a few updates that have made it reasonably easier to do some of the more difficult achievements, such as beating the game with just the beginning blaster. You can, if you progress far enough, you'll unlock a ship that has a much better beginning weapon, so it's much easier to get that achievement. I haven't got the completion yet. I'm one achievement away, and that's for doing a loop of the game, so beating the game once and then then it'll set you back to the start on a slightly harder version, and I got really close to the end and stuffed it up, so that's all I've got left. But like it's a roguelite, so it's going to be marginally different every time. Your weapon drops will be different. It's pretty fun. As I say, I recommend it. It's good. The ratio is pretty intense because I think it was Game Pass at the start and has left since then, but it's currently sitting on a 4.7 ratio, with the highest ratio being the 9.94.
Wow, that's big.
So it does. The one for beating the game using only the blaster is an 11 ratio. So most of them are pretty high because the entry point is low, killing 50 enemies. So it's very easy to dive. So everything is back-ended, is really inflated, but it's pretty fun. As for purchases, I am probably going to get Don't Starve Together. Unfortunately, it's a roguelite survival game. Much to my disagreement, I believe that the randomized mechanics are more for the sake of the survival gameplay as opposed to the roguelite. But that's didn't quite get that across. So it's a roguelite that I have to play. I have access through another person, but I figure it's much easier to just buy it myself and not have to sign in someone else's tag when I want to play it. The other game I'm looking at was Lost Orbit Terminal Velocity. Just from the achievement list, it sounds like it could be a roguelite or something like that. So it's one of those ones I have to buy and investigate.
It looks mostly like an endless runner kind of thing.
All right. So yeah, no, then that probably wouldn't be roguelike. But seems fun enough that
it looks good though.
Yeah. I just have to complete it and then decide that it is a roguelite and then add it to the you know how it is.
Of course. It's good to be the king
all the time. Yeah.
Alex, surprisingly enough, has put something that he wants to purchase. Although I don't think this is the first time you've said you're probably going to purchase it.
No, I think this is the first time for this game. It won't be the first time I said I thought I'm going to buy something and then either forgot or just didn't. But Riddled Corpses EX, I think I'm going to get that one.
All right, good.
Looks like it's good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same. That price is kind of a steal, and I know you've talked about it in the past, Chin, so I think I'm going to jump on that. And then it looks like I'll probably grab Lazy Galaxy Rebel Story as well, just like an idea of what it is.
Yeah.
And then maybe I might grab Awkward. We'll see. I don't know. I've heard really bad things about it.
It's one of those
Some
ones
of those
that
bad things from Chin.
Yes.
you buy it and then don't make the first achievement. You get the Valentine's Day one, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
As for new games, we have a few. We have Overcooked 2 are finishing off their season pass on Thursday with the Carnival of Chaos DLC. On Friday, we have NASCAR 4 Heat, which is a NASCAR game. I'm sure if you play it, you'll probably want to use a controller where you don't mind that it gets stick drift to the left, because that's the only direction you'll be pulling. Just keep going left. In fact, if you already have a controller that drifts to the left, you're set. Just plug that in, hold down the accelerate, and it'll just play itself. You know. Ellen, the game, it just looks like an adventure game of some kind. I initially thought it might be a horror-themed adventure game, but it just seems like a side-scrolling walking sim. It's
also not about Ellen DeGeneres.
I was going to say it's a horror game.
Yeah.
You end up on the show and you have to reveal weird things about yourself. Yeah.
I would have more to say about this game, but I could not find any footage of it because every time I would try and find, I would type in the developer, the publisher, all with Ellen the game, it was only Ellen DeGeneres stuff that came up. I could not find Xbox gameplay, PC gameplay, Steam, all these search things. Ellen DeGeneres. No, that's definitely not what I'm looking for.
Oh, there's an achievement for smoking a cigarette. Boycott that.
You wouldn't be allowed to do that. You wouldn't be allowed in Gears 5 then. Not
it looks like a very sort of spooky pixel art. It actually reminds me of, what was that game where you crash land on that planet and you got to pull the stuff together, the RTX something or other?
Planet Rex.
Planet Rex, that's the one. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of.
If it's spooky, it no, I can't remember. I can see the game art. It's a blonde.
You're thinking of Claire.
Claire. That's the one. It might, but I don't think it's that spooky.
Yeah, I haven't played Claire yet. Actually, I've got it on my in my backlog.
Yeah, it's not too bad, I think. Light Fairy Tale Episode 1. It's a chibi JRPG with turn-based combat. We presume that the other episodes will be separate titles as opposed to DLC, which is why we've named it Episode 1, but we'll see what happens when it drops. The developer tend to do separate titles. I've noted they've released a lot on PlayStation, a lot more than they have here. It looks cute enough. It's standard JRPG with turn-based combat. That's you should know exactly what you're getting into from that. NHL 20 comes out on Friday as well as Borderlands 3. That's probably the big one of the week. That's the one most people are hyped up for. Without pretend weapons, I certainly won't be indulging. Because I much prefer when Borderlands is a point-and-click adventure than a shooter.
Use gun on man.
Yep. Man is no longer there. Man has disappeared into dust. Monday, We Were Here comes out into Games with Gold. We spoke about this when we announced the Games with Gold, I think last week. It's not asymmetric.
It's an asymmetric co-op game. Yeah. So essentially, you and another person play different sections, but you can communicate via radio and you can send clues to each other to try and solve puzzles.
Yeah. I don't know if asymmetric is the right word, but I hope you figure out what you're not doing the exact same things. You're doing different things that will help each other out in the puzzles. That's definitely, Matt and I will play it together and let you know how it goes. And then Tuesday, there's Throw Chin in front of the bus simulator. So
that's every Tuesday, Chin.
Yeah. Well, this one has a game, an actual game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, we don't just record it.
Doing so.
Yeah, there'll be achievements related to throwing me under the bus. No, Bus Simulator comes out. You can pick up all your passengers and force them to listen to the Real Game Score podcast, play it over the radio. I'm sure they'll have that feature in there. Like, I'm in discussion with the developer. He's like, "Who are you? Stop emailing me." I'm like, "Yeah, just put our podcast in." He's like, "No, seriously, stop this. I don't know who you are.
Please stop doxing me." Yep.
Yeah. So email them at developer@bussimulator.com. Send them all your emails saying, "Put the Real Gamerscore podcast in your buses so that the passengers can listen to it." Thank you, everyone. Knobs and discos. There are 3 in particular that have come out this week that we need to deal with. Armored Warfare is a free-to-play tank game. That's not World of Tanks. A bunch of stuff is unobtainable. I don't want to list off because there's like 15 or so. So I, don't play it. Just don't. I mean, if you want to play a tank game, play World of Tanks. I'm sure that's way better. Stealth Inc. 2 on the Windows 10 platform is completely dead. So you can play the game, but you can't sign in to Xbox Live, so therefore your account can't be in and you can't earn achievements. Game already had 4 unobtainables prior to this, but now all 11 achievements are dead, with the 7 remaining being discontinued. And for any of our European listeners who indulged in Onigiri, the free-to-play sort of MMORPG game, the EU servers have been shut down by whoever the developers are. So, American players can still play it, not Australians because it was never released in Australia, although we can just change our region and get it. But any EU player is now not able to play it, and all those achievements are discontinued for them. So, unfortunately, that's happened. I think it was just they decided it was too expensive to keep running those servers. Milestones. I notice Alex is writing. So
I think I'm just splitting them up.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't want to do the first one because of the memes. So I'll let you do that, Alex. 'Cause that one, that's all you, buddy.
No, there's no memes for this one. It's totally fine. So Ghost World has reached 500,000 Gamerscore. Maddie L22L is now in the top 1,000 of Gamerscore for Xbox One simulation racing. Oh no, this one's not okay. ChinDocta reached a new milestone, didn't get 750,000 Gamerscore on the nose. I don't know about that one. But
we probably just cut that one out there, actually. We'll just take that one out.
I'll cut that.
Yeah, cut that for us. Yeah. ChinDocta reached a second milestone, also didn't get 1.2 million TA score on the nose. That's fine. I'm happy with that. That's okay, no dramas.
All right. Yeah, that's a little bit
but
harder.
750,000 gamer score, I mean...
to be fair, I may have gotten it on the nose. And I was breezing through Gamerscore, so I may have got it. Given that I don't end in a 5 and a 0 at the moment, I doubt that I got it on the nose.
Highly unlikely, yeah. So Thrash Forever is currently on a 250-day win streak for achievements. Kingsman 2625 has reached a new milestone of 400,000 Gamerscore. Whispering Clown. The lack of a G threw me off there for some reason. Whispering Clown reached a milestone of 10,000 achievements won, and Kush Moose has reached a new milestone of 600,000 TA score.
All right. Tropan has reached a new milestone of 450,000 gamer score. Matt vs. Game has reached 4,000 achievements won, and Prue is currently on a 15,000 achievement win streak. Man, I wish one of us had used an comma. Because...
And comma.
Yeah, I know I was going to say apostrophe, but I didn't, and I'd already said an, so I was rolling with it. We didn't use a ground apostrophe, so...
Ah, yes. A sleepy apostrophe.
Yeah, the commonly known ground apostrophe.
The title of the episode, and ground apostrophe. Yeah, no, you got it. Write it down. It's fine. That's a good name. Well, speaking of and ground apostrophes, we've come to the end of the show. Totally legit segue, by the way.
Grinding to a halt.
Don't question it, all right? Don't question it. It's fine. So if you want to send us an email, you can send that off to hello@realgamerscore.com. You can send us tweets on Twitter @realgamerscore. I've seen Cameron, the social media manager, has been on there posting some stuff, so you can interact with the show that way if you like.
Yep.
You can
He's already
join us.
posted more than we did in our entirety.
Not true. Not true. What about at PAX time?
Oh,
I was all over that.
That was you accidentally posting on RGS when you were meant to be doing. You were
No.
trying to do it on your personal account. You accidentally did it on RGS.
No, it wasn't. No.
Defo.
There were several tweets that didn't get through because there were too many people there using the bloody cell phone towers. Anyway, again, you can join us in Discord, discord.io/realgamerscore. You can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/realgamerscore. Send in your questions. We'll endeavour to answer them in the next episode. And if you're being in the show, interested in being on the show, oh boy, I minced my words there. You can get in touch with me on Discord. So, if you want to help out the show, you can subscribe on iTunes or the other podcast platforms that you listen to. You can leave us a review, which we'll read out on the show. Tell your friends about us. Interact with us on Twitter, and subscribe to us on YouTube or Patreon. Matt, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, where could they find you?
As I always say, I love hearing feedback from the fans. Fans are my favourite people. Make sure you get in contact with me. You can usually find me on True Achievements at Neomaster or on Discord at Neomaster. And make sure you hit us up because we've been doing some events. We did Secret Hitler over the weekend and we had a great time. So
Definitely totally forgot to talk about that.
No, I'm talking about it now. So make sure. Yeah, we had a great time getting some people together to do Secret Hitler, and we're doing some other board games and stuff. So make sure you jump on. We'll do some community events and try and get some more people together.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was tops. Once we get a good time where we can have, like, I don't know, what's the player limit on that?
10, I think.
Okay, once we get 11 people, just so we can disappoint someone, it'd be great. Because we had 6, which meant Hitler and the fascists knew who each other were. Once we get 7, I think Hitler doesn't know who the fascists are, so then it becomes another little mind game of trying to figure out who the bad guys are. The answer is Cameron every single time.
Yeah, so even if he's definitely a liberal, always shoot Cameron.
Although I did succeed as Hitler in my turn. You and I teamed up together, didn't we, Matt?
Yeah, it went really well. Actually, we played them like a fiddle.
Yep, and everyone was just suspecting Chin and his
clown. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, good times.
I got shot in that one, and then final game of the night. Yeah, I get to be a fascist for once, and just the cards screwed us. The cards genuinely screwed myself and Brad.
The heart of the cards was not with you.
No, every single time the Liberals paired up, none of them got 3 reds. Like, there was one time you got 3 fascist cards. The rest of them there was always a Liberal, and you could always do it. Oh, just got shafted hard.
Speaking of getting shafted hard, where can people find you on the social medias, Chin?
Well, my Neopets account is I am the doctor. I_am_the_doctor. Everywhere else, not Instagram. I don't know why I said Instagram. Twitter, Xbox Live, Discord, TrueAchievements.com, Mixer. All of these under ChinDocta. That's ChinDocta. Neopets word. But Club Penguin as well is ChinDocta.
And my Neopets account is Neomaster 2005. What is the prize?
Oh,
my Neopets is actually Dark Phoenix with a 0 for the Phoenix because I'm cool.
I think it might have been.
It's too cool for O's as O's, zeros.
I think my Neopets might have been Darkman 1, which was my original gamer tag. So, funny story about that.
Boy.
No, funny story about that.
Okay.
Back in high school, there was like some random first-person shooter that we could get onto the school computers and, it wouldn't get detected as a game, and we'd all play it on one server. And so that was my tag, Darkman1, and I'd team up with my friend who's Indigenous, and his name was Blackie in the game. So we would team up, and we'd do really well. I was actually quite good at the game, but then, it would have been weeks of playing this, and I go to my friend, maybe they think I'm black too, because my name's Darkman1. I'm like, maybe they think I'm a black guy too. Didn't bother us any further than that, but it just came across like, because they know you're black, for sure. Maybe they think...
Well, you know, it would be, to be fair, it would be worse if he wasn't black,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah, it was okay because he was black. That joke is okay because he's black and my friend.
So what you're saying is some of your best friends are black, is what you're saying?
Acquaintances.
Oh, okay.
Don't associate
Right.
with... I don't associate with him
that
anymore
time in.
because he works for government doing IT stuff, but he kind of like FIFO. Wade Stokes, if you are listening, that was him.
He's on to you, mate. He's listening to you.
Oh, mate, the culture police are after you.
Alright, what were we on
If
about?
someone wants to get in touch with me, they can find me on True Achievements, Xbox, Mixer, and Twitter, Professor Pluto, and on Twitch, ProfessorPluto1. Alright. I think we need to get out of here because this is getting a bit silly. But thanks everyone that's taken the time to listen. Send in your feedback in the Discord, and we'll catch you in episode 59. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.